No one expected anything special from a human cadet. In the Galactic Training Academy, hundreds of young beings from different planets trained together. Most of them were strong. Some were fast. Others were smart. But humans were always placed at the bottom of every list. They were weak. They were slow. They had no natural weapons. They had no armor on their bodies. They had no sharp claws, no poison, no extra limbs. And this human cadet looked even more ordinary than the rest. His name was Eli Carter. He was tall, thin and quiet. He wore the standard academy uniform like everyone else. He spoke little and kept his eyes down. Many cadets thought he was afraid. Some thought he was hiding something. Most thought he would fail. That morning, the academy announced a special training mission. All cadets were ordered to gather in the main simulation hall. The hall was massive, with tall walls made of glowing metal, and a floor that could turn into any environment in the galaxy. The ceiling was so high it looked like the sky. Alien instructors stood on raised platforms. Their armor shined under bright lights. Their faces were serious. This was not a normal training day. Commander Zarn, a large reptilian officer with glowing yellow eyes, stepped forward. Today, he said, you will face a live capture exercise. The hall became quiet. Your mission, Zarn continued, is to capture a target alive. The target is trained. The target is dangerous. The target will resist. Some cadets smiled. Some cracked their claws or fists. Many were excited. Then the screen behind Zarn turned on. A single image appeared. A human, not wearing armor, not holding a weapon, standing alone in an open field. The name below the image read, Target, Cadet Eli Carter. A few cadets laughed. Some looked confused. Some turned to look at Eli, who stood quietly near the back of the room. He did not react. Commander Zarn raised one claw. This human cadet has been classified as a high-risk training subject. Laughter spread across the hall. A tall, armored cadet from the Raxian species raised his hand. Commander, he said, is this a joke? Zarn did not smile. No. The laughter slowly died. Eli Carter, Zarn continued, has escaped 3 restricted training zones. He has defeated instructors during simulations. He has passed every test with perfect results. Today, you will learn why. The cadets looked back at Eli. He still did not react. The training world loaded into the simulation. The floor shifted. The walls vanished. Suddenly, the cadets stood in a wide forest filled with tall trees, thick fog, and uneven ground. Strange sounds echoed through the air. Commander Zarn's voice came through their communication devices. Cadets, your target is already inside the zone. You have 1 hour to capture him. Use teamwork. Use strategy. Use force if needed, but do not kill the target. The mission began. Teams quickly formed. The strongest cadets moved to the front. The fastest went ahead to scout. The smartest started planting traps. No one asked Eli to join them. In fact, no one wanted him on their team. Stay out of the way, human, one cadet said. You'll only slow us down. Eli nodded and stepped aside. He walked in the opposite direction. Alone. Inside the control room above the simulation, instructors watched closely. General Vexer, a high-ranking officer with 4 arms and a metal faceplate, leaned forward. Why is he walking alone? One instructor asked. Because he knows something we don't, Vexer replied. Or he is afraid, another said. Vexer shook his head slowly. No human who reaches this level is afraid. Eli moved quietly through the forest. He did not rush. He did not hide. He simply walked. He listened to the wind. He watched the movement of the fog. He felt the ground under his feet. He noticed everything. Behind him, 2 cadets followed silently. They were from the Krell species, tall, fast, and deadly. They moved like shadows between the trees. One whispered, "We take him now." The other nodded. They rushed forward. Eli stopped walking. He did not turn around. The first Krell cadet jumped toward him from the left. The second attacked from the right. In less than a second, Eli moved. He stepped forward, turned, and lifted one leg. The first attacker crashed into his raised knee. The second was pulled forward and thrown over Eli's shoulder. Both hit the ground hard. Before they could stand, Eli pressed 2 fingers against each of their necks. They went still, not injured, but unable to move. Eli stepped away and continued walking. The 2 Krell cadets stared at each other in shock. "What just happened?" one whispered. "I don't know," the other said. "But we didn't even touch him." Elsewhere in the forest, a group of armored cadets moved together in formation. They were from different species but trained to work as one unit. They found the two Krell cadets lying on the ground. "What happened here?" their leader asked. "He did this," one Krell cadet said. "The human." The armored cadets looked around. "Where is he?" The Krell cadet pointed down a narrow path. "He went that way?" The team followed. Eli reached a clearing. In the center stood a large metal structure, part of the simulation environment. It looked like a broken tower. He walked toward it. Suddenly, the ground under his feet collapsed. He fell into a deep pit. Above him, nets fell from the trees. Stun fields activated. A heavy energy cage formed around him. From the fog, 10 cadets appeared. They stood in a circle around the pit. Their leader raised his weapon. "We got him," he said. Inside the pit, Eli looked up. He was trapped. He was surrounded. He was unarmed. He smiled. Inside the control room, instructors leaned forward. "This is it," one said. "He can't escape this." General Vexer watched closely. "Let's see," he said. The cadets lowered the energy cage. They entered the pit. 2 of them stepped closer to Eli. "Do not resist," the leader ordered. Eli raised his hand slowly. "I won't," he said calmly. The first cadet reached for Eli's arms. In that moment, Eli moved. He twisted his body. He dropped low. He grabbed the cadet's arm, pulled, and used the cadet's own weight to throw him into another. Both fell. Before anyone could react, Eli jumped. He grabbed the edge of the pit. He pulled himself up. One cadet fired a stun blast. Eli rolled. The blast missed. He kicked a loose rock into the air. It hit another cadet's face. He took the weapon from the fallen cadet and used it, not to fire, but to block incoming attacks. He moved fast, but not wild. Every movement was controlled. Every step had a purpose. Within seconds, all 10 cadets were on the ground. Stunned, confused, defeated, Eli stood in the center of the pit, breathing calmly. He climbed out and walked away. In the control room, silence filled the air. "He escaped again," an instructor whispered. General Vexer crossed his arms. "He didn't escape," Vexer said. "He allowed them to trap him." The instructors turned to him. "Why would he do that?" one asked. Vexer's voice was serious. "To study them." Elsewhere in the forest, Commander Zarn watched the results on his display. Teams were falling apart. Cadets were being defeated. Traps were failing. Communication lines were breaking. The human was always one step ahead. Zarn's eyes narrowed. "He is not running," he said. "He is guiding them." A large group of cadets decided to stop chasing. Instead, they planned an ambush. They chose a narrow canyon where movement would be limited. They placed stun mines. They set up energy walls. They prepared heavy weapons. This time, one cadet said, "He will not escape." They waited. Minutes passed. Then they heard footsteps. Slow, calm. Eli walked into the canyon. He stopped. He looked around. He saw the walls. He saw the ground. He saw the air shimmer. He saw the trap. He stepped forward anyway. The first mine exploded. The ground shook. Dust filled the air. Energy walls activated. Weapons charged. "Fire!" the leader shouted. Stun blasts filled the canyon. Eli ran, not away, toward the fire. He jumped over one blast. He slid under another. He grabbed a falling piece of rock and used it as cover. He rolled. He turned. He threw the rock. It hit a mine. Another explosion. The shock wave knocked several cadets off their feet. Eli used the moment. He moved through them like wind. He disarmed one. He tripped another. He used walls to block attacks. He used the narrow space to his advantage. One by one, cadets fell. The canyon went quiet. Eli stood alone. Again, inside the control room, Commander Zarn clenched his claws. "This is impossible," he said. "He has no armor, no weapon, no powers." General Vexer nodded slowly. "Yet he is winning," he said. Zarn turned to him. "What is he?" Zarn asked. Vexer replied, "He is human." After 30 minutes, only a few cadets remained active. Most were injured or immobilized. Some refused to continue. Some were afraid. The human was no longer seen as weak. He was seen as something else. Something unknown. Something dangerous. Eli reached a high hill at the edge of the simulation zone. He sat on a rock. He drank water from his bottle. He looked at the sky. For the first time, his face showed emotion. Not fear. Not anger. Just calm focus. Commander Zarn opened a channel. "Eli Carter," he said, "this exercise is over. Report to the extraction point." Eli stood up. "Yes, Commander," he said. He turned and walked toward the exit. Behind him, Broken teams lay scattered across the forest. Not dead, not destroyed, just defeated. In the main hall, the simulation faded. The forest vanished. The cadets returned to the metal floor. Many were sitting. Some were being helped. Some were silent. Eli stood alone at the center. Commander Zarn walked forward. The entire hall was quiet. Cadet Carter, Zarn said, "Do you understand what you have done today?" Eli nodded. "Yes, Commander." "And what is that?" "I showed them they were hunting the wrong thing," Eli said. Zarn's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" "They thought I was a target," Eli said, "but I was the test." The room went silent. General Vexer stepped forward. "Explain," he said. Eli looked around at the cadets. "They were trained to overpower," he said. "I was trained to survive." "They used strength," he continued. "I used timing." "They used numbers," he said. "I used space." "They used weapons," he said. "I used their mistakes." Vexer nodded slowly. "And why did you allow yourself to be trapped?" he asked. "So I could see how they think when they believe they are winning," Eli replied. Another silence. Commander Zarn spoke again. "Cadet Carter," he said, "this mission was designed to teach teamwork. Instead, it revealed something else." Eli said nothing. Zarn continued. "It revealed that we do not understand humans." The room became heavy. Zarn looked at the other instructors. "From this moment," he said, "human training protocols will be reviewed." General Vexer added, "And human cadets will no longer be treated as low risk." All eyes turned to Eli. As the cadets were dismissed, many looked at Eli differently. Some looked with fear, some with respect, some with confusion. But none laughed anymore. Eli walked alone toward the exit. A cadet from another species approached him. "How did you do it?" the cadet asked. Eli stopped. He thought for a moment. "I didn't fight you," he said. "I learned you." The cadet said nothing. Eli walked away. Later that day, in a private chamber, General Vexer met with Commander Zarn. "This changes everything," Zarn said. "Yes," Vexer replied. "This is the unexpected turning point." "What do you mean?" Zarn asked. Vexer turned to a hidden screen. It showed data, escape records, combat simulations, survival tests, all linked to one name, Eli Carter. "He is not just a cadet," Vexer said. "He is proof." "Proof of what?" Zarn asked. Vexer's voice lowered. "Proof that humans do not need weapons to be dangerous." Outside, Eli stood alone under the artificial sky. He looked calm, but inside, he knew something important had changed. The Academy would never see humans the same way again, and neither would the galaxy. This was only the beginning. The Academy did not sleep that night. After what happened in the simulation, alarms were not sounded, but minds were restless. Instructors talked in quiet rooms. Commanders reviewed recordings again and again. Cadets whispered in corridors. One name was everywhere: Eli Carter. General Vexer stood in front of a large screen in the command chamber. The room was dark except for the soft blue light of floating data. "He did not use force," Vexer said. "He used understanding." Commander Zarn crossed his arms. "Understanding should not defeat armored units." "But it did," Vexer replied. Zarn turned to him. "What are you suggesting?" "That we stop treating him like a cadet," Vexer said, "and start treating him like a threat." Zarn's eyes narrowed. "He is unarmed." Vexer's voice was calm but firm. "So is fire." Later that night, Eli lay on his bed in the human quarters. The room was small, simple, and quiet. A metal desk, a single chair, a window showing a distant artificial sky. He stared at the ceiling. He knew something was coming, not because of fear, but because the silence always came before the storm. He closed his eyes and waited. The next morning, Eli was summoned to the command sector. 2 heavily armed guards escorted him through long metal halls. Other cadets watched as he passed. Some moved aside, some stared, some whispered, but no one laughed anymore. The doors to the command chamber opened. Inside, General Vexer and Commander Zarn waited. "Cadet Carter," Zarn said, "step forward." Eli did. Vexer spoke. "You have shown us something unexpected." "Yes, sir," Eli replied. "And now," Vexer continued, "you will face a different kind of test." Eli waited. Zarn activated the central screen. A new simulation appeared. But this one was different. It was not a forest, not a canyon, not an open battlefield. It was a city, a massive alien city with tall buildings, narrow streets, and countless hiding places. Zarn pointed to the image. This is a high-risk urban zone, he said. This time, you will not be the target. Eli raised his eyes. You will be the hunted. Zarn continued. The room was silent. How many? Eli asked. Zarn replied. Every elite capture unit currently stationed at this academy. Eli blinked once. How long? He asked. Until you are captured, Vexer said. Eli nodded. Or until you escape the zone, Zarn added. Eli tilted his head slightly. Is escape allowed? Yes, Vexer said. If you can. Eli did not smile. Understood, he said. Minutes later, Eli stood at the edge of the simulation platform. The city loaded around him. Buildings rose from the ground. Lights flickered on. The sound of distant traffic filled the air. It looked real. It felt real. Eli stood in a narrow street between two tall structures. He was alone. Then the signal sounded. The hunt began. From command towers above the city, dozens of elite units deployed. They moved across rooftops, through alleys, under streets. Drones filled the sky. Sensors scanned every corner. Heat vision activated. Sound tracking began. Motion detectors swept the area. This is overkill, one officer said. It is necessary, Vexer replied. Eli walked calmly. He did not run. He did not hide. He did not rush. He turned left, then right, then left again. Not randomly, purposefully. He entered a small shop. Inside, shelves were filled with alien goods. The shop was empty. Eli looked around. He picked up a cloth, wrapped it around his hands. He picked up a metal rod. He bent it slightly. He placed it near the door. Then he left through the back. Two elite soldiers entered the shop minutes later. Target passed through here, one said. Confirm, the other replied. They moved deeper into the shop. The first soldier tripped. The bent rod snapped. A flash of energy burst upward. The soldier fell. The second turned. Before he could react, Eli appeared behind him. Eli pressed two fingers into a nerve point near the neck. The soldier collapsed. Eli caught him before he hit the floor. He placed him gently on the ground. Then he left. On the command screen, two signals went dark. Commander Zarn frowned. They're gone, he said. Non-lethal, Vexer noted. As expected, Zarn clenched his claws. Increased pressure. The city became louder. Sirens sounded. Lights flashed. Drones moved lower. Patrols doubled. Eli moved faster now. Still calm. Still controlled. He entered a large building. Stairs. Corridors. Open rooms. He climbed to the top floor. He stepped out onto a rooftop. The sky above was full of drones. He looked down. The street below was full of soldiers. He looked behind him. A patrol was approaching. Eli took a deep breath. Then he jumped. The soldiers below looked up in shock. He jumped, one shouted. But Eli did not fall. He grabbed a hanging cable. He swung. He landed on a lower rooftop. He rolled. He stood. He ran. Drones fired stun beams. Eli slid behind an air unit. He jumped again. He landed on a moving transport vehicle. He ran along its roof. He jumped off. He disappeared into the crowd. Inside the command chamber, alarm sounded. Target is mobile, an officer said. Tracking lost. Another said. Regained. Another said. Sector 7. Vexer leaned forward. He's not escaping, Zarn said. He's testing the limits. In Sector 7, the city became tighter. Buildings were closer. Streets were narrower. Shadows were deeper. Eli slowed down. He turned into a dark alley. He stopped. He listened. Footsteps. Multiple. He turned around. 5 elite soldiers blocked the entrance. Behind him, 3 more appeared. He was surrounded. Again, one soldier raised a weapon. Target acquired, he said. Do not resist. Eli raised his hands. I won't, he said calmly. The soldiers moved closer. One reached for Eli's arm. Eli moved. He stepped inside the soldier's reach. He twisted the arm. He used the soldier's body as a shield. A stun blasted the shield. Eli pushed the soldier forward. The others stumbled. Eli kicked one, tripped another. He moved through them like water through cracks. 2 fell. 3 fell. 1 remained. The last soldier backed away. What are you? The soldier whispered. Eli paused. Human, he said. Then the soldier fell. Eli leaned against the wall. He took a slow breath. He checked the surroundings. Then he heard something new. Not footsteps. Not drones. Not voices. A low hum. A deep vibration. The ground shook. Lights flickered. From above, something descended. A massive unit. Heavy armor. Thick plating. Large energy weapons. A capture mech. Designed for dangerous targets. Eli looked up. "So that's new," he said quietly. Inside the command chamber, Commander Zarn nodded. "Release the Titan unit," he said. "It is active," an officer replied. Vexer watched closely. "He has never faced this before," Zarn said. Vexer replied, "Neither has the Titan faced a human." The mech landed in the street. Its feet crushed the ground. Its arms moved slowly but with heavy power. Its sensors locked onto Eli. "Target acquired," it said in a deep mechanical voice. "Do not resist." Eli looked around. No exits. No hiding places. No escape routes. Just a narrow street, tall walls, and a machine built to capture monsters. Eli took a deep breath. Then he walked forward. The mech fired a stun net. Eli jumped. The net hit the wall. It crackled with energy. The mech fired again. Eli rolled. He ran toward the mech. The mech raised its arm. Eli slid under it. He reached the mech's leg. He pressed his palm against the metal. He felt the vibration. He felt the power flow. He moved his hand slightly. He found a small panel. He struck it. The panel cracked. The mech staggered. The mech turned. It fired again. Eli jumped backward. He landed on a ledge. He climbed higher. The mech followed. Slowly. He climbed faster. He reached the roof. The mech climbed after him. The roof shook. The building groaned. Eli ran. The mech fired. A stun blasted the roof behind him. The surface cracked. Eli jumped. He landed on the mech's shoulder. He climbed. He reached its head. He saw the main sensor array. He pulled out a small tool from his pocket. A simple metal spike. He drove it into a gap. Sparks flew. The mech froze. Then powered down. Silence. Inside the command chamber, every officer stood. "No," one whispered. "He disabled the Titan," another said. Zarn stared at the screen. "That unit has never failed." Vexer spoke softly. "Neither has he." Eli climbed down. He stepped away from the powered-down mech. He took a deep breath. Then he felt it. Something wrong. Too quiet. Too still. He turned slowly. The city lights dimmed. The sky darkened. The simulation changed. The environment shifted. Buildings melted away. The street disappeared. The city collapsed into darkness. Then light returned. But it was not the city anymore. It was a massive open chamber. Walls of glowing energy. No exits. No doors. No shadows. Only light. Only space. Only silence. Eli stood at the center. Alone. A voice echoed. Test environment change complete. Eli looked around. "So," he said, "this is the real trap." Inside the command chamber, Commander Zarn crossed his arms. "He adapted too quickly," he said. "We had to escalate." Vexer watched Eli's image. "What is this environment?" he asked. "A containment chamber," Zarn replied. "No hiding. No escape. No tools." Vexer's eyes narrowed. "No mistakes." Inside the chamber, the floor began to move. Walls shifted. Platforms rose. Energy fields formed. Targets appeared. Traps activated. Drones emerged. This was not a hunt. This was a test of survival. And it had no end. Eli closed his eyes for a moment. Then he opened them. His face was calm. Focused. Ready? He stepped forward. Targets fired. Traps activated. Platforms collapsed. Eli moved. He jumped. He rolled. He slid. He ran. He adapted. Every trap failed. Every attack missed. Every pattern was broken. He used timing. He used angles. He used space. He used patience. Minutes passed. Then hours. He did not slow. He did not panic. He did not fail. Inside the command chamber, officers watched in silence. "He should be exhausted," one said. "He should have made a mistake," another said. "But he hasn't," Zarn said. Vexer leaned forward. "This chamber was designed for creatures stronger than him," Vexer said. Zarn replied, "And yet he stands." Finally, the chamber stopped. The traps deactivated. The lights dimmed. The voice returned. Test complete. A door appeared. Eli walked toward it. He stopped. He turned around. "Is that all?" he asked. The voice did not answer. He walked through the door. Back in the command chamber, Eli appeared on the platform. The room was silent. Every officer stood. Every instructor stared. General Vexer stepped forward. "Cadet Carter," he said, "do you know what you just did?" Eli nodded. "I survived," he said. Vexer shook his head slowly. No, he said. You changed our understanding. Commander Zarn spoke. This trap was designed to be perfect, he said. No one has ever escaped it. Eli looked at him. I didn't escape, he said. The room went silent. What do you mean? Zarn asked. I walked out, Eli said. Another silence. Vexer turned to the officers. From this moment, he said, humans are no longer classified as low risk. Zarn added, they are now classified as unpredictable. Eli stood quietly. He did not react. He did not celebrate. He simply waited. Later, alone in his quarters, Eli sat on his bed. He looked at his hands. He felt tired, not in his body, in his mind. He knew this was only the beginning. The Academy was watching him now. The galaxy would follow. And the next test would not be a simulation. After the containment chamber test, the Academy changed. Not in loud ways, not with alarms, but in silence. Guards were doubled. Security levels increased. Restricted zones expanded. And one name was quietly removed from the list of normal cadets. Eli Carter. He was no longer treated as a student. He was treated as an unknown force. In the highest command room of the Academy, General Vexer and Commander Zarn stood before a large holographic table. On it floated an image of a distant planet. Rocky, cold, covered in thick storms. This world, Zarn said, is called Virex 9. Vexer nodded. Hostile environment, extreme weather, high radiation, and unstable terrain, Zarn added. The perfect place for something to go wrong. Vexer looked at the next image. A damaged research facility. This outpost lost contact 3 days ago, Zarn said. No signals. No survivors confirmed. Vexer turned to him. You believe it was an attack? Zarn nodded. We believe something inside that facility is still active. Vexer paused. Then why send a cadet? Zarn did not answer immediately. Instead, he activated another image. Eli Carter. This is not a cadet, Zarn said. This is a solution. Eli stood alone in the preparation chamber. He wore standard survival gear. No armor. No heavy weapons. Just tools. He looked at the door. He knew it was on the other side. It opened. General Vexer and Commander Zarn entered. Cadet Carter, Vexer said, we have a mission. Eli nodded. I'm listening. Zarn spoke. A research outpost on Virex 9 has gone dark. No survivors confirmed. No signals. No data. Eli remained silent. We believe something hostile remains inside. Zarn continued. Your task is simple, Vexer said. Enter the facility. Find out what happened. Return alive. Eli looked up. Simple rarely means easy, he said. Zarn's eyes narrowed. You will not have backup. No extraction team, Vexer added. No rescue. Eli considered this. Is the mission optional? He asked. Zarn shook his head. No. Eli nodded. Then I accept, he said. The transport ship left the Academy in silence. No ceremony. No crowd. No farewell. Just one human, one pilot, and a dark sky. Inside the ship, Eli sat quietly. He checked his equipment. He closed his eyes. He focused. The ship landed on Virex 9 under heavy storms. Rain hit the hull like metal. Wind screamed across the landing field. The ground shook under distant thunder. The pilot turned to Eli. This is as far as I go, he said. Eli nodded. Thank you. The ramp lowered. Cold air rushed inside. Eli stepped out. The ship lifted off and disappeared into the storm. Eli stood alone on an alien world. The outpost stood in the distance. Dark, silent, broken. Lights flickered inside. The outer walls were damaged. Scorch marks covered the entrance. Eli walked toward it. Slow, careful, alert. He reached the main door. It was open. He stepped inside. The air inside the facility was thick and cold. Emergency lights glowed faintly. The floor was wet. Something had spilled. He moved deeper. He saw overturned tables, broken equipment, marks on the walls. Not from weapons. From something else. Something strong. Something large. He followed the marks. They led to the central lab. The lab doors were torn apart. Inside, the room was in chaos. Containers were broken. Screens were shattered. The floor was covered in debris. And in the center, a body. Not human. Not alien. Something else. It was tall, thin. Its skin was dark and smooth. Its eyes were closed. Eli approached carefully. He knelt beside it. He examined it. It was not breathing. He looked around. Something felt wrong. Too quiet. Too still. Suddenly, a sound. A low scraping noise. From behind the walls. From above. From everywhere. Eli stood. He turned slowly. The lights flickered. Then went out. Darkness filled the lab. Only emergency lights remained. Red. Low. Unsteady. The scraping grew louder. Then a voice echoed through the room. Not a voice. A sound. A signal. Deep. Cold. Wrong. Eli did not move. He waited. From the shadows, something moved. Then another. Then another. Shapes appeared. Tall. Thin. Moving on long limbs. Their eyes glowed faintly. They surrounded the room. Not rushing. Not attacking. Watching. Studying. Eli stood in the center. Unarmed. Alone. He spoke softly. "I know you're there," he said. No response. He raised his hand slowly. "I'm not here to fight," he said. Still no response. One of the creatures stepped forward. Its head tilted. It made a sound. Not a threat. Not a roar. A question. Eli took a slow breath. "I'm here to understand," he said. The creature stopped. The others remained still. The room was silent. Inside the academy, General Vexer watched the feed. The signal was weak, but active. "He's surrounded," Zarn said. "And not attacking," Vexer replied. Zarn frowned. "That is dangerous." Vexer shook his head. "So is misunderstanding." Back in the lab, Eli slowly stepped forward. He did not rush. He did not threaten. He did not attack. The creatures moved slightly, but did not strike. Eli stopped a few steps away from the closest one. "You attacked this place," he said. "Why?" The creature made another sound. This time, the sound changed. The room vibrated. The lights flickered. Images appeared in Eli's mind. Not clear images. Feelings. Memories. Fear. Pain. Loss. Eli staggered slightly. He held his head. Then he steadied himself. "I see," he said softly. "You were trapped." The creature's eyes glowed brighter. Another image appeared. A lab. A cage. Energy fields. Needles. Pain. Eli clenched his fists. "They captured you," he said. Another image. Experiments. Probes. Control. "They tried to control you," Eli said. The creature lowered its head. Eli took a step closer. "They hurt you," he said. The creature did not move. "I won't," Eli said. Silence. Then the creature stepped back. The others followed. They moved aside. They opened a path. Not an attack. Not a retreat. An invitation. Eli followed. They led him through the facility. Down broken halls. Through dark corridors. Into the deepest level of the outpost. There he saw it. A containment chamber. Broken. Energy field shattered. Inside the chamber were marks. Claw marks. Burn marks. Impact marks. But also human tools. Restraints. Control devices. Neural links. This was not a research facility. This was a prison. Eli's face hardened. "You are not guests," he said. The creatures made a low sound. Agreement. One of the creatures stepped forward. It touched the broken control panel. Images filled Eli's mind again. Scientists. Commands. Pain. Fear. Resistance. Eli understood. "They didn't stop when you asked," he said. "They didn't stop when you resisted." Another image. A scream. A pulse. A release. The creatures had broken free. Not to conquer. Not to destroy. But to escape. The damage to the facility was not random. It was a path. A way out. Eli turned to them. "You didn't kill them," he said. The creatures did not respond. But Eli saw something. Bodies. Inside rooms. Unmoving. But not destroyed. Not torn apart. Not eaten. Just unconscious. "They are alive," Eli said. The creatures made a low sound. Agreement. "They attacked you," Eli said. "You defended yourselves." Another low sound. Eli nodded. "I understand." Suddenly, a loud alarm echoed through the facility. The lights flashed. Red. Emergency protocols activated. A voice echoed. "Containment breach detected. Security systems online." Eli turned. "That's new," he said. The creatures tensed. From walls, automated defense units emerged. Turrets. Drones. Energy barriers. They targeted everything. Not just Eli. Not just the creatures. Everything. "This system doesn't know the difference," Eli said. The turrets fired. Energy blasts filled the air. Eli moved. He pushed one creature aside. He grabbed another and pulled it behind cover. He rolled. He ran. He used debris. He used timing. He used movement. He did not attack the creatures. He protected them. Inside the academy, alarm sounded. The facility's defense systems are active, an officer said. They are firing on everything, another said. Zarn clenched his claws. He's in the middle of it. Vexor leaned forward, and not running. Eli reached the control panel. He tried to access it. It was locked. He moved to another. Also locked. The system was sealed. The defense units continued firing. The creatures moved, but slowly, carefully. They were not built for this kind of environment. Eli realized something. They don't know how to escape, he said. They only know how to survive. He took a deep breath. Then he made a decision. Eli stood up. He walked into the open. Energy blasts flew around him. He dodged. He rolled. He slid. He reached the central control unit. He struck the panel. Hard. It cracked. Sparks flew. He tore it open. He pulled out wires. He crossed them. He cut others. The system flickered. The turrets paused. Then powered down. Silence returned. Eli turned to creatures. It's safe, he said. They did not move. He stepped closer. You're free now, he said. One creature approached. It looked at him. Its eyes glowed. Then it made a sound. Not a threat. Not a command. Gratitude. Eli nodded. Go, he said. The creatures moved past him. Toward the exit. Toward the storm. Toward freedom. Eli stood alone in the ruined facility. He looked around. He took a deep breath. Then he activated his communicator. Mission update, he said. Outpost compromised by unethical containment operations. Hostile presence neutralized. No threat remains. Silence. Then General Vexor's voice came through. Explain, Vexor said. They weren't the threat, Eli replied. They were the victims. Another silence. Zarn's voice followed. You let them go. Yes, Eli said. They attacked a research facility, Zarn said. They escaped a prison, Eli replied. Silence again. The transport ship arrived hours later. Eli boarded. As the ship lifted off, he looked back at the storm-covered world. He knew this mission would not be recorded as a success. Not officially, but he also knew something important had changed. Not just in the academy, but in the way humans would be seen. Not as destroyers, not as conquerors, but as something else. Something more dangerous. Something more rare. Understanding. Back at the academy, Vexor and Zarn stood in silence. He disobeyed protocol, Zarn said. Yes, Vexor replied. And yet, Zarn continued, the threat is gone. Vexor nodded. He solved the problem without creating a new one. Zarn looked at the data. He didn't complete the mission, Zarn said. Vexor replied. He completed the right mission. Later, alone in his quarters, Eli sat on his bed. He felt tired, but not broken. He looked at his hands again. He knew the next mission would be harder, not because of enemies, but because of choices. And he knew the galaxy was not ready for the kind of human he was. The Academy thought the Virex 9 mission would stay quiet. They were wrong. News spread faster than ships. Reports leaked. Whispers became stories. Stories became fear. And fear turned into anger. Across the galaxy, governments asked questions. Why did a human cadet enter a restricted outpost alone? Why were unknown beings released? Why were security protocols broken? Why was a human allowed to decide? Soon, one question drowned out all others. Was the human protecting the galaxy or threatening it? In the Grand Council Hall, representatives from dozens of species gathered. The hall was massive, filled with floating platforms, glowing symbols, and endless screens. At the center, a large hologram showed Eli Carter's face. Unarmed, calm, still. Council Speaker Threx, a tall insect-like being with golden wings, spoke. The human cadet known as Eli Carter violated interstellar containment law. Threx said. He released unknown life forms into open space. Murmurs filled the hall. Another representative spoke. Those beings destroyed a research facility. Another added, they could attack civilian worlds. A third said, this human acted without authority. Threx raised a wing. The question before us is simple. Threx said. Is Eli Carter protector or a threat? At the academy, alarm sounded. Commander Zarn stood in the command chamber. We have incoming orders, an officer said. From the Grand Council. Zarn's jaw tightened. General Vexor stepped forward. What are the orders? Vexor asked. The officer hesitated. They demand custody of Cadet Eli Carter. Silence. For what purpose? Zarn asked. The officer swallowed. Detainment. Interrogation. Possible trial. Vexer's eyes darkened. They want to make him an example, Vexer said. Zarn nodded slowly. And if we refuse? The officer replied, they will send enforcement fleets. Another silence. Eli sat alone in the observation deck. He looked at the stars. He did not know what was happening, but he felt it. That quiet tension. That heavy air. That shift. He heard footsteps. Commander Zarn approached. Cadet Carter, Zarn said. Eli stood. Yes, Commander. Zarn paused. The Grand Council has issued an order, he said. They want you transferred. Eli nodded. For what reason, he asked. Zarn replied, they believe you are a risk. Eli considered this. I understand, he said. Zarn's eyes narrowed. No, he said. You don't. Eli looked at him. They won't listen to what you say, Zarn continued. They won't care why you acted. They only care that you did. Eli nodded. I still understand, he said. Zarn's voice lowered. You may not return. Eli met his eyes. I never planned to, he said. Inside the Grand Council Hall, preparations began. A special containment chamber was prepared. Not a prison. Not a cell. Something else. Something stronger. Before the transfer, General Vexer met with Eli in private. Do you know what they will ask? Vexer said. Eli shook his head. They will ask why you released them. Vexer continued. Eli nodded. They will ask if you acted alone. Vexer said. Yes, Eli replied. They will ask if humans are like you. Vexer said. Eli paused. Are they? Vexer asked. Eli thought. Then he said, some are. Vexer watched him. And what makes you different? Vexer asked. Eli replied, I don't think I am. Vexer said nothing. The transfer ship left the academy under heavy guard. 6 enforcement cruisers surrounded it. Defense systems were active. Weapons were charged. The message was clear. The galaxy did not trust this human. Inside the ship, Eli sat alone in a containment chamber. The walls glowed faintly. The floor hummed. Energy fields surrounded him. He could not leave, but he could stand. He could breathe. He could think. He closed his eyes. He waited. The ship arrived at the Grand Council Station, a massive structure floating in space. It looked like a star made of metal. Thousands of ships docked around it. Eli was escorted through long halls. Council guards surrounded him. Representatives watched as he passed. Some stared. Some whispered. Some turned away. None spoke. The council chamber doors opened. Inside, the room was filled with light. Platforms floated. Representatives hovered or stood or sat. All eyes turned to Eli. He stood at the center. Unarmed. Unarmored. Alone. Council Speaker Threx spoke. Eli Carter, human cadet. Threx said. You stand before the Grand Council. I am here, Eli said. You are accused of violating containment law, endangering interstellar security, and releasing unknown hostile entities. Eli listened. Do you deny these charges? Threx asked. I deny the word hostile, Eli said. The hall reacted. Some representatives made angry sounds. Some raised limbs. Some hissed. Threx raised a wing. Explain, Threx said. They were prisoners, Eli said. Not attackers. They destroyed a research outpost. Threx said. They escaped the prison, Eli replied. They could attack civilian worlds. Threx said. They were attacked first, Eli replied. Silence spread. A representative from the Zal species spoke. You are a human, the Zal said. Your kind is known for violence. Eli looked at the representative. Some of us are, he said. And you? The Zal asked. Eli paused. Sometimes, he said. The hall reacted again. Threx raised a wing. Do you admit that you made the decision to release them? Threx asked. Yes, Eli said. Without approval? Threx asked. Yes, Eli said. Without backup? Threx asked. Yes, Eli said. Without considering the risk to others? Threx asked. Eli shook his head. I considered it, he said. I just didn't choose fear. Another silence. Threx leaned forward. You chose your own judgment over the law. Threx said. Yes, Eli said. You chose trust over control. Threx said. Yes, Eli said. You chose mercy over safety. Threx said. Eli thought. Then he said, I chose understanding. The hall went quiet. A new voice spoke. One that had not spoken yet. It came from a dark platform near the edge of the hall. Understanding is dangerous. All eyes turned. A tall figure stepped forward, dressed in dark armor, face hidden behind a mask. This was High Enforcer Karos, leader of the enforcement fleet, the one who captured rogue warlords, the one who destroyed rebel systems, the one who brought order through force. You do not release unknown beings, Karos said. You contain them. You do not trust, Karos said. You control. You do not question, Karos said. You obey. Eli looked at him. And when control fails? Eli asked. Karos did not answer. Eli continued. And when obedience causes harm? Eli asked. Still no answer. Eli spoke again. And when law becomes a cage? Eli asked. Karos stepped closer. Then the cage is necessary, Karos said. Eli met his gaze. Not for everyone, Eli said. Karos turned to the council. This human is dangerous, he said. Not because of strength, not because of weapons, but because he challenges order. Murmurs spread. Order keeps the galaxy alive, Karos continued. Without it, there's chaos. Chaos is worse than injustice, Karos said. Eli spoke softly. Injustice is slow chaos, he said. The hall froze. Threx raised a wing. The council will now decide, Threx said. Eli Carter, you will be detained until a verdict is reached. 2 enforcement guards moved forward. Energy restraints activated around Eli. He did not resist. He did not fight. He did not speak. He allowed himself to be taken. Inside a high-security containment chamber, Eli stood alone. The walls were smooth. No corners. No shadows. No doors. Only energy. Only light. Only silence. He could not see outside. He could not hear outside. He could only wait. Hours passed. Then days. He did not know. Time did not exist in the chamber. He stood. He sat. He thought. He remembered. The forest. The canyon. The city. The prison world. The creatures. The storm. He did not regret. He did not doubt. He only wondered what would come next. Outside, the galaxy reacted. Some worlds demanded his execution. Some demanded his release. Some demanded answers. Some demanded silence. The human governments requested access. The alien governments refused. The situation became unstable, not because of Eli, but because of what he represented. A question, a challenge, a possibility. Inside the Grand Council, debates became arguments. Arguments became threats. Threats became preparations. Fleets were moved. Weapons were activated. Borders tightened. All because of one human. Inside the academy, Commander Zarn stood in the training hall. This is our fault, he said. General Vexer stood beside him. No, Vexer replied. This is our responsibility. Zarn looked at him. They will not release him, Zarn said. Vexer replied, not yet. Zarn asked, what do we do? Vexer looked at the stars through the ceiling. We prepare, he said. For what? Zarn asked. Vexer answered. For the moment they realize they need him. Back in the containment chamber, Eli stood still. Then he felt something. Not a sound. Not a vibration. A presence. A quiet shift. Then a voice spoke. Not from the walls. Not from the air. From his mind. Human. Eli did not move. Do not be afraid, the voice said. Eli replied calmly. I'm not. Do you remember us? The voice asked. Eli closed his eyes. Yes, he said. We remember you, the voice said. Eli felt something warm. Not heat. Not light. Connection. We are not gone, the voice said. We are watching. Eli took a slow breath. Good, he said. The voice faded. Silence returned. But something had changed. Eli was no longer alone. Inside the Grand Council, High Enforcer Karos stood before the council. We cannot allow this human to influence others, he said. He is a spark, Karos said. And sparks start fires. Threx replied, or they light the dark. The galaxy had made him the enemy, not because he was dangerous, but because he refused to be controlled. Karos did not respond. In the containment chamber, Eli stood. He did not know the future, but he knew this. The galaxy did not sleep. Not after the vote. Not after the warning. Not after the silence. For days, the Grand Council argued over Eli Carter's fate. Some wanted him erased. Some wanted him studied. Some wanted him locked away forever. But none of them expected what came next. Far beyond the known star lanes, something moved. Not a ship. Not a fleet. Not a storm. Something older. Something darker. Something that did not think in words. It thought in hunger. It moved between stars like a shadow, and it had found a signal it remembered, a signal it hated. On a distant listening station, an automated system activated, then failed, then sent one message. Not a warning, not a call for help, just a single broken word. Run. The station went silent. In the Grand Council chamber, High Enforcer Caro stood before the assembly. We have received reports of lost stations, Caro said. Outer systems are going dark. Murmurs filled the hall. How many? Threx asked. 5 so far, Caro's replied. No survivors. No debris. No explanation. Threx leaned forward. Enemy action? Threx asked. Caro's hesitated. No known enemy, he said. Then what? Another representative demanded. Caro's did not answer, because he did not know. Inside his containment chamber, Eli felt it. Not through sensors. Not through data. Through instinct. The kind that humans had learned to trust when nothing else made sense. He stood. He placed his hand on the smooth wall. He closed his eyes. Something is coming, he whispered. Inside the academy, General Vexer watched new data. Star maps, energy readings, distortion fields. Commander Zarn, Vexer said, look at this. Zarn stepped closer. These systems vanished, Zarn said. Not destroyed, not attacked, just gone. Vexer nodded, like they were erased. Zarn's eyes widened. This pattern, he said, it's moving inward. Vexer said nothing. He already knew. Inside the Grand Council chamber, emergency lights activated. An officer rushed in. Council speaker. The officer said, we have lost contact with 3 more systems. The hall erupted. What is happening? Someone shouted. Is this an invasion? Another demanded. Caro stepped forward. We do not know, he said. But whatever this is, it is not using ships. It is not using weapons. Then how? Threx asked. Caro's replied, it is using absence. Silence fell. A new screen activated. A distant star system. Then, nothing. The stars vanished. Not exploded. Not destroyed. Just gone. Replaced by empty space. A void. Threx whispered. That is impossible. Caro's replied, it is happening. Inside a containment chamber, Eli opened his eyes. He felt the same feeling he felt on Virex 9. Not danger. Not threat. Pain. Fear. Loss. But not his. Someone else's. Something else's. He stepped closer to the wall. I know you, he whispered. Inside the Grand Council chamber, Threx turned to Caro's. We need a solution, Threx said. Caro's nodded. We need weapons, Caro said. We need fleets. Threx replied, we don't even know what we're fighting. Caro's turned. We fight everything the same way, he said. With force. Threx hesitated. And if force fails? Threx asked. Caro said nothing. An officer stepped forward. Council speaker. The officer said, there's one individual who has encountered unknown entities and survived. Threx looked up. Who? Threx asked. The officer replied, the human, Eli Carter. Silence filled the hall. Some representatives hissed. Some raised limbs. Some turned away. Caro's clenched his fists. He is the problem, Caro said. He may be the only solution, Threx replied. Inside the containment chamber, Eli heard a new sound. Not a voice. Not a system. Footsteps. The wall shifted. A door formed. For the first time since his attainment, the chamber opened. 2 guards stood outside. Behind them, General Vexer and Commander Zarn. Eli stepped forward. What's happening? He asked. Zarn replied, the galaxy is in danger. Eli nodded. I know, he said. Vexer looked at him. How? Vexer asked. Eli replied, I can feel it. Zarn hesitated. We need your help, Zarn said. Eli looked at them. Am I still the enemy? He asked. Vexer said nothing. Zarn said, yes. Eli nodded. Then why ask me? He asked. Zarn replied, because enemies still see the truth. Eli considered this. Where? He asked. Inside the Grand Council chamber, Eli stood again. Not in chains. Not restrained. But not free. Council Speaker Threx addressed him. Eli Carter. Threx said, the galaxy faces an unknown threat. I know, Eli said. You have experience with unknown life forms. Threx said. Yes, Eli said. We want your assessment. Threx said. Eli looked at the star map. Systems disappearing. Void spreading. Patterns forming. This is not an invasion, Eli said. The hall reacted. Then what is it? Threx asked. Eli replied, It's a feeding. Silence. Caro stepped forward. You are guessing, Caro said. Eli shook his head. No, he said. I'm remembering. The hall quieted. Remembering what? Threx asked. The signal, Eli said. The one I fell on Virex 9. That wasn't a language, Eli said. It was pain. And this, Eli said, pointing at the map, is the same pain, just louder. Threx leaned forward. Can it be stopped? Threx asked. Eli thought. Yes, he said. How? Threx asked. Not by weapons, Eli said. Caro's laughed darkly. Then by what? Caro's asked. By understanding, Eli said. The hall erupted. Understanding will not stop extinction, Caro said. Neither will fear, Eli replied. Threx raised a wing. Enough, Threx said. Eli Carter, what do you propose? Eli pointed at the center of the expanding void. There, he said. That's where it started. That's where it hurts the most, he said. And that's where we need to go. The hall froze. You want us to go into the void? Threx asked. Yes, Eli said. That region erases ships. Threx said. Yes, Eli said. Then how do we survive? Threx asked. Eli replied. You don't. Silence. You let me go alone, Eli continued. Because I'm not what's afraid of. The hall reacted. What do you mean? Threx asked. Eli said. It doesn't fear weapons. It doesn't fear fleets. It doesn't fear death. It fears connection. Caro stepped forward. This is madness, he said. You are asking us to trust the enemy. Eli looked at him. You already trust force, Eli said. And force has failed every time you've used it. Caro's clenched his fists. And what makes you different? Caro's asked. Eli replied, I don't want to win. The hall went quiet. I want to stop the pain, Eli said. Threx leaned back. And if you fail? Threx asked. Eli said, then nothing changes. But if I succeed, Eli continued, everything does. Silence spread. After a long moment, Threx spoke. The council will vote. Minutes passed. Then the result appeared. Motion passed. Not unanimously. Not confidently. But passed. Threx looked at Eli. You will be escorted to the edge of the void. Threx said. No fleet support. Threx continued. No weapons. No rescue. Eli nodded. Good, he said. The transport ship was prepared. Not a warship. Not a cruiser. A simple vessel. Small. Fast. Quiet. Inside, Eli sat alone. He looked at the stars. He felt the pull. The emptiness. The hunger. The pain. It was calling. Inside the Grand Council chamber, Caro's watched the ship leave. He will not return, Caro said. Threx replied, neither will the galaxy if we do nothing. The ship reached the edge of the void. Stars disappeared ahead. Space twisted. Light bent. No signal passed beyond this point. The pilot turned to Eli. This is it, the pilot said. Eli nodded. Open the airlock, Eli said. The pilot froze. You can't mean... I do, Eli said. The pilot shook his head. There is no atmosphere, the pilot said. There is no space, Eli replied. There is something else. The pilot hesitated, then opened the airlock. Eli stood. Not fall. He did not float. He did not move. He was simply there. The darkness was not empty. It was full of noise, full of pain, full of hunger. He felt it, not as sound, not as touch, as emotion, as memory, as loss. He spoke. I know you're here, he said. No response. I'm not here to fight, he said. No response. I'm not here to destroy you, he said. No response. I'm here to listen, he said. The darkness shifted. Something noticed him. A presence formed. Not a shape, not a body. A feeling. Cold, heavy, endless. Were you? Eli asked. The presence answered. Not in words. In memories. Stars dying. Worlds collapsing. Endless hunger. Endless loss. Eli staggered. You're starving, he whispered. Another wave. Another memory. Isolation. Fear. Rejection. You're alone, Eli said. The presence reacted. It pushed. The void trembled. Eli stood firm. I know that feeling, he said. The presence paused. I was alone too, Eli said. Not because no one was around, he said, but because no one understood. The presence shifted. You don't eat worlds because you're evil, Eli said. You eat because you're empty. Silence. I can't feed you, Eli said. I can't fix you. But I can see you. The presence trembled. I can listen. I can stay. Another pause. Another shift. The void stopped expanding. The darkness stabilized. Stars began to reappear at the edges. Inside the Grand Council chamber, alarm stopped. System loss is halted. An officer said. Threx leaned forward. Is the void shrinking? Threx asked. Yes, the officer replied. Silence filled the hall. Inside the void, Eli stood. The presence did not attack. It did not retreat. It remained, listening, feeling. I won't control you, Eli said. I won't trap you. I won't destroy you. But I won't abandon you either. The presence responded, not with words, but with stillness. Then, slowly, the void receded, not vanished, not destroyed, just quieted. The darkness pulled back. The stars returned. The hunger faded. The pain softened. Eli felt himself fall, not into space, into reality. He gasped. He opened his eyes. He was floating outside the ship. The pilot stared at him. You're alive, the pilot whispered. Eli nodded. Barely, he said. Inside the Grand Council chamber, the star map stabilized. No more systems vanished. No more void expanded. The galaxy held its breath, then exhaled. High Enforcer Caro stood in silence. Threx looked at the screen. He stopped it, Threx said. Caro's whispered. How? Threx replied. He listened. Eli returned, not as a prisoner, not as a cadet, but as something else. Not a hero, not a soldier, not a savior. A bridge. Later, alone in his quarters, Eli sat on his bed. He felt tired, not from battle, from connection. He looked at his hands. They're still there, he whispered, but they're not alone anymore. The galaxy was quiet, not peaceful, not calm, just quiet. The kind of quiet that comes after a storm, when everyone is afraid to move, afraid to speak, afraid to breathe too loud. Stars still burned, worlds still turned, but nothing felt the same, because something had changed, and everyone knew it. Inside the Grand Council chamber, representatives gathered again. Their seats were full, but their minds were heavy. Council Speaker Threx stood slowly. For the first time in recorded history, Threx said, an extinction-level event was stopped without weapons. Silence followed. High Enforcer Caro stood stiffly. We do not yet understand what happened, Caro said. Threx replied, that is the problem, and also the miracle. On a distant balcony overlooking the Academy world, Eli Carter stood alone. He was not in chains. He was not under guard, but he was not free. Not truly. Freedom was a word. This was something else. He watched the stars. He felt them, not as lights, as lives, as stories, as fragile things trying to survive. Commander Zarn approached quietly. You should be resting, Zarn said. Eli smiled faintly. I am, he said. Zarn hesitated. You saved trillions, Zarn said. I listened, Eli replied. That is not the same thing, Zarn said. It is, Eli said softly. It just doesn't look powerful. Inside the council chamber, debate had already begun. We cannot allow him unrestricted movement, one representative said. He is too dangerous, another added. He is too unpredictable, a third said. Threx raised a wing. Dangerous? Threx said. He saved us. By disobeying every rule, Caro's replied. By becoming something we cannot control, another added. The word hung in the air. Control. Caro stepped forward. The human is not like us, Caro said. He is not like any species we know. He resists fear, Caro's continued. He resists authority. He resists reason. Threx replied. He also resists extinction. Silence. Back at the academy, Eli sat on the edge of a training field. Not training. Not watching. Just sitting. A young alien cadet approached him. The cadet was small, with thin limbs and wide eyes. Are you really human? The cadet asked. Eli smiled. Yes, he said. Are you really unarmed? The cadet asked. Eli nodded. Yes. The cadet tilted its head. Then how did you stop the darkness? It asked. Eli thought. I didn't stop it, he said. I stood with it. The cadet looked confused. But it was destroying everything, the cadet said. Yes, Eli said. So why didn't you fight? The cadet asked. Eli replied. Because sometimes fighting only makes the pain louder. The cadet did not fully understand, but it remembered. Inside the council chamber, an officer rushed in. Council speaker, the officer said, "We have new data from the void region." Threx leaned forward. "What kind of data?" Threx asked. The officer replied, "Stability. Energy levels have normalized." The officer continued, "No expansion. No collapse. No feeding." Karos narrowed his eyes. "And what about communication?" Karos asked. The officer hesitated. "There is the signal." Silence fell. "A signal from the void?" Threx asked. "Yes," the officer said. "Is it hostile?" Karos asked. "No," the officer said. "It is quiet." Threx asked. "Define quiet." The officer replied. "It is not calling. It is not warning. It is not threatening. It is listening." Silence spread. Back on the balcony, Zarn looked at Eli. "You changed something," Zarn said. Eli nodded. "I didn't change it," he said. "I met it." Zarn frowned. "That makes no sense," Zarn said. "It makes human sense," Eli replied. Zarn sighed. "That may be the most dangerous kind." Later, Eli was summoned. Not arrested, not commanded. Invited. Inside the council chamber. Every representative watched him enter. He did not bow. He did not salute. He did not lower his eyes. He simply stood. Threx spoke first. "Eli Carter." Threx said, "You have altered the course of galactic history." Eli replied, "I stood still." Threx said, "That was enough." Karos stepped forward. "You disobeyed direct orders," Karos said. "Yes," Eli said. "You entered restricted space." Karos said. "Yes," Eli said. "You interacted with an unknown entity," Karos said. "Yes," Eli said. "You placed the galaxy at risk," Karos said. "Yes," Eli said. Silence. "And yet," Karos continued, "you saved the galaxy." "Yes," Eli said. Threx raised a wing. "The council must decide your fate," Threx said. "Fate?" Eli asked. "Yes," Threx said. "You are no longer just a cadet." Eli nodded. "I never was," he said. The chamber grew tense. One representative spoke. "We should remove him." Another said, "We should study him." Another said, "We should isolate him." Another said, "We should weaponize him." The word weaponize echoed. Eli's eyes darkened. "No," he said. The hall quieted. "You will not weaponize me," Eli said. Karos snapped. "You do not get to decide." Eli looked at him. "Neither do you," Eli said calmly. Silence spread. Threx leaned forward. "What do you propose?" Threx asked. Eli replied, "Nothing." The chamber reacted. "Nothing." Threx asked. "Yes," Eli said. "Let me exist." "That is unacceptable," Karos said. "Then you haven't learned anything," Eli replied. Eli continued. "You fear what you can't control," he said. "You fear what you don't understand," he said. "You fear what doesn't obey." That fear nearly destroyed everything. Silence. "You build walls," Eli said. "I build bridges." "You build weapons," Eli said. "I build trust." "You prepare for war," Eli said. "I prepare for pain." Threx asked, "And if another threat comes?" Eli replied, "Then I will listen again." Karos snapped, "That is not a strategy." Eli replied, "It's a responsibility." The chamber went quiet. Then Threx spoke. "The council must vote." Lights activated. Symbols shifted. Time passed. Then the result appeared. Motion failed. Not one motion. All of them. Remove him. Failed. Study him. Failed. Isolate him. Failed. Weaponize him. Failed. Silence filled the hall. Threx whispered, "Then what remains?" Eli spoke. "Trust." The word felt strange. Unfamiliar. Fragile. But powerful. Threx stood. "By council authority," Threx said, "Eli Carter is granted unrestricted movement across council space." Gasps echoed. "He is not a weapon," Threx said. "He is not a prisoner," Threx said. "He is not an asset," Threx said. "He is independent." The chamber erupted. Karos shouted, "This is reckless." Threx replied, "So is extinction." Later, Eli walked alone through the academy halls. Not as a cadet, not as a prisoner, not as a threat, but as something undefined. And undefined frightened him. Outside, he stood beneath alien skies. Stars glowed. Ships moved. Life continued. But something new existed now. A question. Not about weapons. Not about power. About choice. Far away, in the quiet edge of the void, something stirred. Not hunger. Not pain. Curiosity. It felt the human, not as food, not as prey, but as presence. It did not reach out. It waited. Back at the council, Threx and Karo stood together. "This will change everything," Karo said. Threx replied, "Already has." Karos asked, "What if he betrays us?" Threx said, "Then we will face that." Karos asked, "What if others become like him?" Threx paused. "Then perhaps," Threx said, "we will finally deserve to survive." At the academy, Commander Zarn found Eli watching a training exercise. "Do you miss it?" Zarn asked. "Miss what?" Eli asked. "Being cadet," Zarn said. Eli smiled faintly. "I was never cadet," he said. Zarn frowned. "Then what were you?" Zarn asked. Eli replied, "Human." A group of cadets watched him from a distance, some afraid, some curious, some inspired. One whispered, "He's just one being." Another whispered, "He stopped the void." Another whispered, "He didn't fight." Another whispered, "He didn't run." Another whispered, "He didn't obey." The last whispered, "He didn't abandon." Eli walked away, not because he was lonely, but because he did not belong to one place. Not anymore. He belonged to the spaces between species, between rules, between fear and understanding, between war and peace. He stood on a landing platform. A small ship waited. Not assigned, not commanded, chosen. Zarn approached him. "Where will you go?" Zarn asked. Eli replied, "Where I'm needed." Zarn hesitated. "And where is that?" Zarn asked. Eli smiled. "Where someone is afraid," he said. Zarn said nothing. As Eli boarded the ship, the galaxy watched, not through cameras, not through sensors, through hope, through fear, through uncertainty, through something new. The ship lifted, stars shifted, worlds turned, history changed. Far away, the void remained quiet, not gone, not defeated, but aware that it was no longer alone. Eli sat in the pilot seat. He did not feel like a hero. He did not feel like a savior. He did not feel like a soldier. He felt like what he had always been, a human. And somewhere in the endless dark between stars, something ancient listened, not to commands, not to threats, not to weapons, but to a single simple truth. The galaxy had finally met a species that did not want to conquer it. The galaxy did not sleep. It watched. For weeks after Eli left the Academy world, strange reports began to appear, small ones at first. A border station that refused to fire on a weaker species. A patrol unit that chose rescue over retaliation. A military commander who waited instead of attacking. The change was small, but it was spreading, and that made some leaders nervous. Very nervous. Inside the high enforcer chamber, Karo stood before a wall of data screens. "This is his fault," Karo said coldly. Images flashed behind him. Eli helping a mining colony during a reactor failure. Eli speaking with a warlord instead of arresting him. Eli sitting with refugees instead of commanding soldiers. "He is weakening discipline," Karo continued. "He is infecting our forces with hesitation." A senior officer asked quietly, "Or is he teaching them restraint?" Karo's turned sharply. "Restraint loses wars." The officer replied, "Maybe it prevents them." Silence filled the chamber. Karo's made a decision. "If the galaxy trusts him so much," he said slowly, "then we will test him." Far away, near the outer rim, a crisis began. A massive alien fleet appeared near a neutral system. Unknown ships, unknown species, no communication, no warning. They simply surrounded the system and powered weapons. Panic spread quickly. Refugees fled. Messages flooded the council. Possible invasion. Unknown force strength. High probability of extermination. And then one more message. They are asking for the human. The council chamber froze. "They want Eli?" Threx asked. "Yes," the messenger replied. Their only clear transmission was this. The screen activated. A deep, distorted voice filled the chamber. "Send the human, or we erase the system." Silence followed. Karos narrowed his eyes. "Perfect," he whispered. Eli received a message while repairing a damaged transport ship on a small colony world. He was covered in grease. His hands were dirty. He looked up as his communicator activated. "Eli Carter," Threx's voice said. "You are being requested." "Requested?" Eli asked calmly. "Yes," Threx replied. "An unknown fleet threatens a neutral system. They demand your presence." Eli wiped his hands. And if I don't go, he asked. Threx hesitated. They will destroy millions. Eli nodded once. Send coordinates. When Eli's small ship entered the system, the sky was already filled with warships. Dark holes, sharp angles, heavy weapons glowing. In the center of the formation floated one enormous flagship. It was silent, waiting. Eli's ship looked tiny in comparison. Weak, fragile, but he did not turn back. Inside the flagship, a massive figure watched his arrival. The being was tall, armored in natural plates, with glowing red eyes. This was Supreme Commander Varric. Weak, Varric growled. An officer beside him said, "This is the human who stopped the void." Varric replied, "Then let us see if he can stop us." Eli's ship was pulled into the flagship's hangar. No weapons fired. No escorts attacked. That was strange. Eli stepped out alone. No armor. No weapon. Just a simple jacket. He looked small inside the massive alien hangar. Rows of heavily armed soldiers surrounded him. Weapons aimed. Ready? But no one fired. Varric entered. Each step shook the floor. "You are the human," Varric said. "Yes," Eli replied calmly. Varric leaned closer. "You stopped a cosmic force." "I listened to it," Eli said. Varric's eyes narrowed. "Then listen to this." Varric gestured. A hologram appeared. It showed a planet. Green. Peaceful. Then the image zoomed in. Explosions. Fire. Cities destroyed. Eli's eyes hardened. "What is this?" he asked. "Our home," Varric said. The room went silent. Varric continued. "Your council destroyed our system 20 cycles ago." Eli did not speak. "Our messages were ignored," Varric said. "Our warnings were dismissed. Our suffering was unseen." Varric's voice grew deeper. "So now," he said, "we will make them see." Eli felt something heavy in his chest. "When did this happen?" he asked. "During the expansion wars," Varric replied. Eli closed his eyes briefly. He knew those wars. Many species had suffered. Many lies were told. Many truths were buried. "You want revenge?" Eli said. Varric's voice was cold. "We want balance." Outside, the fleet charged weapons. The neutral system waited in fear. The council waited in tension. Karos watched closely. "Now we see," Karos whispered. "If a human chooses diplomacy or destruction." Back in the hangar, Varric stepped closer. "You will return to your leaders," Varric said. "You will bring them here. You will force them to answer." Eli shook his head. "No," he said. Varric's eyes flared. "No. I won't bring them," Eli said calmly. Varric's voice thundered. "Then we destroy the system." Eli's voice remained steady. "If you do that, you become what you hate." Silence. Varric raised a massive claw. "You speak of morality to the broken?" Eli replied, "I speak a choice." Varric growled, "We have no choice." "Yes, you do," Eli said. Varric stepped back slightly. "No one gave us one," Varric said. Eli replied quietly, "Then take one." Varric stared. "You are alone here," Varric said. "Yes," Eli replied. "You are surrounded," Varric said. "Yes." "You could die," Varric said. "Yes." Varric narrowed his eyes. "Why are you not afraid?" Eli looked directly at him. "I am," he said. The soldiers shifted slightly. Varric blinked. "You admit fear?" "Yes," Eli said. "Fear means the loss matters." Silence filled the hangar. Eli stepped forward. "I cannot undo your pain," he said. "I cannot erase your loss. But I can stand here." Varric's voice was lower now. "And that changes what?" Eli replied, "It proves someone sees you." Outside, weapons continued charging. Energy levels rising. Second from firing range. Inside the council chamber, alarms blared. "They are about to fire." Karos leaned forward. "Will the human finally fail?" he whispered. Back in the flagship, Varric looked at the hologram of his destroyed world. His claws tightened. "You speak of seeing," Varric said. "Where was your species when we burned?" Eli answered softly. "Lost." Varric's eyes snapped toward him. "Lost?" "Yes," Eli said. "Lost in power. Lost in pride. Lost in war." He looked around at the soldiers. "Like you are now." The hangar went deadly silent. Varric raised his claw again, but slower. "You dare judge us?" he asked. Eli shook his head. "No. I recognize you." That hit harder than any weapon. Varric's breathing slowed. "You recognize us?" he repeated. "Yes," Eli said. "Because humans have done terrible things too." Silence. And we paid for them, Eli continued. We still do. The fleet weapons reached full charge. Inside the flagship, the final command waited for Varric's signal. He only needed to lower his claw. One motion. Millions would die. Balance restored. Revenge complete. But something felt different. This human was not begging, not threatening, not negotiating. He was standing, present, unarmed, unprotected. Varric lowered his claw halfway. You offer words, he said. Eli nodded. Yes. Varric asked quietly. And what do your words give us? Eli answered. A future. Varric's jaw tightened. We lost our future. Eli replied. Then build another. Seconds passed. Long. Heavy. The weapon systems waited. The soldiers waited. The council waited. Karos leaned forward. Do it, he whispered to the screen. Varric slowly turned. He looked at his fleet commander. The commander waited for the signal. Varric's claw trembled slightly. Revenge. Or something else. His red eyes shifted back to Eli. You would stand here, Varric said, even if we killed you? Yes, Eli replied. Why? Varric asked. Eli's answer was simple. Because someone has to break the pattern. That was the turning point. Not a weapon. Not a threat. A pattern. Varric looked at the hologram again. Fire. Destruction. Pain. Then he imagined another image. A second burning world. Another species screaming. The same cycle. Again. And again. And again. Slowly, Varric lowered his claw completely. Stand down, he ordered. Across the system, the fleet weapons powered down. Energy levels dropped. Silence spread. The neutral system survived. Inside the council chamber, shock filled the air. They stopped, someone whispered. Karos stared at the screen. No, he breathed. Back in the hangar, Varric looked at Eli. This does not forgive the past, Varric said. I know, Eli replied. This does not erase our anger. I know. Varric's voice was steady now. But it stops today. Eli nodded. That's enough. Varric stepped aside. You will bring our demand to the council, Varric said. Not revenge. Truth. Eli smiled slightly. That I can do. As Eli returned to his small ship, the massive fleet began to withdraw. Not defeated. Not destroyed. Changed. Inside the council chamber, Threx whispered, He did it again. Karos said nothing. For the first time, doubt entered his eyes. Eli's ship left the system slowly. Stars reflected in the cockpit window. He closed his eyes for a moment. He felt tired. Not weak. Just human. And across the galaxy, a new message spread. The human did not conquer fleets. He did not command armies. He did not fire weapons. He broke patterns. And that terrified some leaders more than any war ever could.